respond that way. This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 534. I'm laughing at XV's pain. Can't help it. I'm laughing. I'm Brian Kilby. With me, we have Chris, who's having a wonderful memory about Mountain Dew.
Back when Mountain Dew was still good without extra flavors added to it.
That's true. Don, do you like Mountain Dew?
Also, I laugh at everybody else's misery, so it's fair enough that, some of mine gets laughed at, too.
I prefer Sundrop.
Sundrop's good.
So, is Sundrop available outside of the Southeast?
I've never... The only time I've ever gone out of the Southeast was to look for RC10, so I really don't know.
You've been to every BotCon but one. You've been out of the Southeast more than...
Yeah, but I wasn't... Yeah, but
soda.
Yeah, but for the first 10 or 15, I wasn't out of the dealer's room.
Yeah,
that's so weird to me.
Keep in mind, like you have to remember they don't sell sodas in the dealer rooms at BotCon. So unless he's specifically looking for sodas to take home with him, he's not going to know what's available over the course of
our Radio Free CyberCon.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly, Rob.
Sure, why not?
This is never going to happen.
So the dealer room is my apartment. You just can't buy anything. Is that it?
Yes. No, there would be a tour of your. It's like a tour of your bedroom, and here's the Grand Max that's under a sheet. Here's the Cardi-Go bots on the wall.
Yeah, and under this sheet it's Overlord. Who's that Transformer?
Hey, John, how's it going?
Good.
Speaking of
just enjoying the show.
Speaking of conventions and tours, are you still on for HasCon next week?
So far, so good. There is something that might come up, but so far I have not been commanded to change my schedule.
So what day do you plan on going? I know you already have a ticket for it.
Yeah. Right now I've got like a refundable plane ticket for next Wednesday, but we'll see.
Okay, cool. So just trying to figure out who's going to be on the show next week and who's not. I'm definitely not. So sounds like you're not either. It's going to be fun.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, man. So also real quick, everybody knows that you're in Texas. And, of course, there's been flooding in Houston, but you're nowhere near Houston.
No, I'm several hours away from Houston. But thanks for checking.
We had a similar conversation with Fort Max on Monday.
He's also...
he's fine.
Yeah. A she.
Where is Fort Max?
A little bit outside Dallas.
Under the sheets.
Okay.
Under the sheets. Yes. Yeah, cool. So let's see here. What do we got going on this week? It's we've had some interesting news this week, so we're going to get into that. But a couple things I want to mention up front. Again, we will be at meaning right now, John, Diecast, and I will be at HasCon next week. So expect lots of updates from HasCon, depending on what those updates are. Maybe we'll have some special reports. Maybe we won't, since, of course, we know Power of the Primes was basically spoiled last month.
Oh, we're getting a Predicking.
Well, I mean, hopefully there will be like physical samples in your tempting fate, Don. Hopefully there will be physical samples and display cases of stuff that wasn't at SDCC, so there will be something new to see, even if it's not like surprise stuff.
So you're going to want to pay attention to our Twitter at TF Radio,
exactly,
because that's where the photos are going to go. And also, hopefully, we'll hear about if there's going to be some sort of a Transformers Collectors Club.
Yeah,
and of course, you'll want to keep watch on TFormers.com also for like long form reports and photo galleries there as well.
So one thing though that's worth mentioning about HasCon, and I'll mention the daily news update a bit in more in a minute, but I did a daily news update day before yesterday. And I went through all the events at HasCon, and we knew that a lot of the things would be repeated, but the brand panel where they actually introduced the toys for the, that are forthcoming. So they're doing it 3 times. So I expect it to be the same material all 3 times, but at the same time, I worry a little bit that maybe, just maybe, I need to set through the same presentation.
Well,
for science.
For science.
So at BotCon, they did... on a couple of occasions, they did add stuff to the Sunday panel, either samples that hadn't arrived yet, or they were just keeping it rotated through. that wasn't shown on Saturday. They did that a couple of times to make the Sunday panel at least a little different. So, and also since,
but they didn't get 40,000 people at BotCon, Don. So they got to squeeze. They got to be able to get people to see the same panel over and over.
Also,
we can ask.
Yeah, but also though, that was before the big reveal. So maybe now it's like, well, since it's all out there, they're going to show more stuff to get more interest up with whatever's ready versus.
And we'll be speaking to John and Ben actually before the first panel, so we can get clarification.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Of course, that's like the worst time to have an interview with them since you don't know like relevant stuff to ask. It's going to be revealed at the panel.
Yeah, I realized that after I scheduled it, but at the same time, I just want to get it over with.
Can I tell you how great it is that Brian's going to be at this event with me? Because every email I got, I just forward to him and say, "What do you think?" And he takes care of it. So I have had to do like no planning because Brian has done all the planning for
I like the plan. So off camera right here, this week I made a Kanban board where I can keep track of the things that I'm planning on doing, things I am doing, and the things I've done, which, yeah, I like planning. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I'm just so go with the flow that it's just going to be a wonderful thing.
Well, that's the thing. Diecast, you're good at taking instructions.
He's very trainable.
I can set up stuff when I need to. It's nice to have someone that can set all that up.
I love setting stuff up.
You like a whole lot to proceed without thinking whenever you can.
Yes.
Way to be a dick, Chris. Just keep trying to bury Diecast. Diecast is the man. Okay. So I mentioned the daily news update. So we started that last week. So far, it's gone really well. And really on your Alexa. Good. She didn't hear that.
The ALEXA.
Yeah, the ALEXA.
If you do that often enough, she's going to learn how to spell her own name.
Well, so
we had a dog that did that.
On the other podcast I do each day, the Happy Daily, I go on the ALEXA when I talk about how people can listen to it.
Oh my gosh. How did Mater get on the podcast?
Actually, I'm kind of channeling you a little bit, Don, just to be honest with you.
No, you're not. Trust me. You are not.
But
you are in no way, shape, or form channeling
to
me.
my ear.
But on the RFC Daily News Update, we have Daily Transformers News, which is fun. And it is on the Amazon Echo. Of course, it's also available as a podcast, but primarily long form. I think you should check it out. It's at tfradio.net/ALEXA. And you can just add it right to your daily briefing. And because of that, one thing I wanted to do, so I finally got my collection loaded up into the shelves. And I learned that I have a lot of duplicates. A lot of stuff that I no longer
like video games?
Well, I have a problem. What I'm going to do is to get rid of some of the stuff I hate eBay. And I don't like Facebook selling groups. So I decided I'm going to give some of this stuff away. And I'm trying to batch it up and do the stuff that I think that makes the most sense. Now, I realize that none of this stuff is sexy. It's not like it's brand new stuff that people are scrambling to find. But it's stuff that I've had boxed up for a while. So I'm going to give away. It's a really easy contest. The Transformers Small Legends class Skywarp. The one that was an exclusive to... Well, wasn't an exclusive. I got it at... What's that? Fred's. That chain of Dollar General-like stores. It's also available at Dollar General. So,
I was going to say, it's like a Market 6 kind of thing.
Yeah. So that, the Cliff Jumper that was in the same wave, and Titan's Return Top Spin had an extra one of those.
Oh, nice.
So basically, it's really easy. The contest. Go to tfradio.net/ALEXA and just leave a review for the app. You just need an Amazon account. Go ahead and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you did. But leave a review. Then send me a screenshot that basically shows that you did it. You can do it through email. at contact@tfradio.net or through Twitter. Just tweet at us at TFRadio, or on Facebook at facebook.com/TFRadio. And not next week, since I'll be at HasCon, but the week after, I'll announce the winner. So we'll say this runs through the second Tuesday of September, which is, what is that, the 14th?
13th?
The 12th.
12th.
So,
well, we got there eventually.
Yeah, so leave a review, tfradio.net/Alexa, and just let me know that you did, and I'll put you in the drawing. Really simple.
So what was really nice is I was listening to the Happy Daily this week, or a couple days ago, and my wife goes, "What are you listening to?" And I go, "It's Brian." And she goes, "Does he really sound like that?"
Kinda,
Yes,
kinda,
yes, he does.
Kinda.
He's channeling 1999.
No, I sound completely different than I did. Like, I can't do that again. I can't do that.
I know.
Like, Diecast, like I've talked with Diecast late at night, like when I was really tired. I kind of slip into that, but I started just slipping more into the happy day. Like, sometimes you'll listen to the RFC Daily News Update, and like I record that around midnight every night. And sometimes I really just slip into it. And I'm like, oh God, did I record that as Happy Day, Brian? So, also one more thing. So we've had some reports of issues with our Roku app, which is at tfradio.net/Roku. It's all been cleared up. So the Roku should be updating now, just like it should. I had some issues with our provider. I was able to work that out, and we're good. Not like issues like with lack of payment or anything like that. Issues within like technical issues. So
although we do need money.
We do need money, yeah. But like when it comes like to the technical stuff, typically I'm a one-man band. I kind of like running all that stuff myself, which is great, except when something breaks. You don't have time to fix it because you're recording 2 podcasts a day plus other stuff. Yeah, I got a problem. Okay, anybody get anything this week? I did.
So did I.
You go first.
Okay, so I got my Siege on Cybertron set.
Ooh, nice.
So I got the 2 toys that matter out of that set.
Tidal
I got
Wave.
Metal Hawk and Pounce.
Tidal Wave and who?
Metal Hawk and Pounce. So they're both really nice.
Have you noticed any stress marks on your Metal Hawk?
I have. I was just getting to that. So on his right shoulder in that gold plastic, right there are stress marks forming already, and I have transformed it once.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I saw someone on Twitter, I don't remember who it was, had like a slightly misfired pin, and the whole thing looked like it was on the verge of collapsing.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
This is bad plastic. Be afraid.
I never opened my box yet. I guess I should.
Or shouldn't, depending.
Yeah.
And I also got Trypticon.
Nice.
Finally. And immediately fixed his legs before I even attached them.
Good.
Good idea.
I'm going to be really curious when the imports of the Takara Trypticon come in and find out whether the spring tension has been factory corrected or not, or if that's still going to be like, yep, this toy's going to self-destruct if you don't perform surgery.
No,
Yeah,
it was corrected.
bad.
It was corrected in some of them, because I got one from Amazon that was fine. I'm on my second Trypticon. The
So
first
is
one
that
self-destructed as soon as...
tfradio.net/Titan Eater? Was that where that was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's down to like 135, or he was the other day.
He is, the last I checked.
Yeah, and the first one I got self-destructed as soon as I took it out of the box. The one from Amazon's been awesome.
So
I mean, that's great. I'm glad you got a good one, but nobody should ever have to say the sentence, I'm on my second Trypticon.
I agree with Foley. Totally.
So when I took it out of the box, fresh out of the box, did not attach the legs, I tried to turn it with my hand, the joint, and it would not budge.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
Either leg. So I actually had to cut more spring out of one leg than the other. And not a small amount of spring had to be cut either. Like I tried the compression, the 10-minute compression trick to loosen up the springs, did nothing. So I had to clip a good chunk of them off and then actually bend them a little bit up so that it could rotate both ways without digging into the plastic.
Yeah, I ended up cutting about half off and I regret that I should have cut a little less since the joint's a little loose now.
I did cut less than half off, but the second spring was rapidly approaching half.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of individual variation in that form of the fix, just because apparently no two springs are alike.
Yeah. The chest door on mine is fine, though. Works.
That's good.
Great. Not warped at all.
Cool.
That's what I got.
Any other QC problems you've observed with the Siege on Cybertron set?
I haven't messed with most of them that much. I mean, Thunderwing's a nice little headmaster. The paint on mine is good. Just Metal Hawk is the really terrifying one. I'm not even sure what I've done with Tidal Wave, to tell you the truth.
That's fair.
I think he's on a shelf back there. Pounce is nice. Not as nice as Wingspan, but he's nice.
Darn you.
Better than Fastlane.
And
I wouldn't know.
well, yeah. Wingspan is the best of the four, hands down. But my Magnus Prime is fine, and I think I might actually look into that Perfect Effect Jinrai cab now that I have a spare Power Master Prime body. So
I actually put my Magnus Prime beside of my childhood Power Master Prime, and I kind of like Power Master Prime better.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
These things happen.
yeah, it's nice though.
I mean, I put Siege on Cybertron Tidal Wave next to my childhood Tidal Wave, and I like the original one better. So these things happen.
I mean, childhood literally in the sense it's when I had as a kid.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it would be my childhood Tidal Wave, except I was like 18 at the time.
God, I still think, yeah. I'll go next just because I got one thing. I got the Legends Black Convoy, which is pretty nice. It's exactly what you think it would be, though, except pretty.
Did you put it in its base mode yet?
I have not.
Because I tried that with the G2 Laser Prime from the first box set, and that's actually pretty cool when you actually put it together.
I have this mold way too many times now. Yeah. So, but I like it. And it's going on a shelf, never to be touched again. Don, did you get anything?
Yeah, I got two things. I got the Siege on Cybertron set. I haven't had a chance to open it yet. And I got the X-Transbots. I got the House, which is their take on a Road Ranger using that Huffer and Pipes mold from a few years ago. So, because I figured I wasn't real crazy about that mold as Huffer and Pipes, but as House, it kind of stands out from the crowd with his very Captain America color schemes.
Yeah.
So it's going to look kind of nice on the shelf having a third party House.
What was the
third party Road Ranger?
Yeah, Road Ranger. That's right. I already forgot the original name.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'll have some better stuff next week once everything
Was
clears.
that a super? Was that a super or regular? That was a regular.
Regular GoBot. Yeah, you're probably thinking of Stacks that came with. The,
Stacks is orange.
Yeah, and there was a version that came by himself. There was one that came with the car carrying trailer as well.
Yeah, Cast. How about you?
I got the Iron Factory Violet, which is their.
You're getting all about these.
Well, you know what? This came with the clear parts to make the make their clear Starscream. So their Ghost Starscream. So I finally got all the parts because I had to get Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker, and then each of them came with parts to build. So I got a Build-A-Figure, the first Transformers Build-A-Figure I think I've ever gotten. And they also came with arms and legs for a Sunstorm, but I don't know what the body's coming with. So apparently I'm probably going to have to buy another one of these things.
Eric is saying you need a sugar mama in the chat, by the way, Chris.
Yeah, I saw. I don't really want to be that guy. Okay, so that's the.
I'll be that guy.
So Diecast, you said that's the one that comes with the Sunstorm parts?
Yes.
Okay, so the final part of that comes in the Coneheads 3-pack. That's going to be $90, so enjoy that.
And then I got something...
I think it's up for pre-order now.
Yeah.
And then I got something that's a little blue that makes me very happy.
I got it.
Oh my
G2 blue Grimlock.
How much did you end up paying for it? You got it from China, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
How much did you pay for it? Because I would be willing to spend like less than retail on that.
It's hard to say with shipping because I get things
Rough
shipped
guesstimate.
together. $150.
That's tempting.
That's actually one of the things I have coming myself, and thanks to that a surprise eBay coupon. That's what I got mine for with free shipping.
Because it's really pretty, and it's G2.
Yeah,
It's G2,
and
it's gorgeous.
and also and it's also the grinder version. And there's not a lot of difference between the grinder version and regular Masterpiece Grimlock, other than your size. The transform it's Grimlock. He has to.
Are you saying it's highly
transform the same
derivative of
way.
the Hasbro toy and the Takara toy?
No, I'm just saying to be G1 Grimlock, you're kind of locked in this very similar transformation pattern to still be Grimlock. But I kind of wanted the grinder version just to have something different for that mold, but not the plain old regular one. So that was a nice.
You could do it like Pretender Grimlock.
No, I want to like the toy. Now granted, this does make me slightly more tempted to get the red snarl and the green slag, but that would be down
Expensive.
the road if I could. Yeah, and if I can find them cheaper, down the road, like you said. But I'm looking forward to getting him.
And he does come with all the parts for the other G2 guys, like the new head for Slag and the new leg pieces for Snarl and all that stuff. So it's not just it's basically everything you got with the original Fans Toys grinder.
Takara's embraced G2 at times. It's a shame that they didn't do that with Grimlock, because I would have already had that. Were that the case?
He's a beautiful shade.
Because we got
blue.
Marvel Comics Grimlock instead, and that to me seems like such a miss.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, it's a little bit more interesting as a concept to me that they went in that direction instead of going something
Well, we got
a
the
lot more
crown out of
obvious,
it.
I would say, with G2 colors.
We got a crown
Yeah.
out of it. That's the important thing.
Yes.
Because
The one thing about
Marvel Grimlock was awesome.
Yeah.
Budiansky Marvel Grimlock.
Yeah.
Not that Furman stuff.
But the
Even
only thing
the Furman one had his moments.
The only thing really bad about this Grimlock, and it's not really bad, it's a more personal preference, because we've talked before about how there was so many shading variances on those G2 Grimlocks across the board. Because one that I saw was actually, it was kind of, if you look at your Skype chat, the blue buttons at the bottom, it was actually that kind of blue is one of the ones I saw. Almost like a pastel or a powder puff blue.
So, Don, what are you talking about? So our listeners and viewers can know what you're talking about when you say the Skype chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I was using it just for y'all's reference, but if you look at say a powder puff blue or like a sky blue, kind of like that, I saw
the suit that you like the suit that you wore to prom.
No, mine was rose.
Really?
So this.
That's surprising.
It matched her dress.
This is my Grimlock from when I was a kid, and
that color
it's
seems off.
probably one of the only probably one of the only G1 Transformers or G2 that survived from my childhood. Didn't get given away, or I don't know how, but
So
this is
like the coloration on it varies. There's variation in the color of that Grimlock, and mine is definitely not that dark.
Yeah, I've seen them range from like light blue to turquoise to even green in some cases.
yeah. This is like a turquoise or almost a green.
Meanwhile, I wound up with the one in the G1 colors. So
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
I like the light blue one the best.
I'd have to get up there to get mine, so I'm not going to. Cool. Would you get anything else besides Grinder?
No, that was it.
Rob, did you get anything?
Nope.
John?
I got Siege on Cybertron, which has been talked about plenty. I can't wait to open up my rapidly disintegrating toys.
Oh, yes.
It's just the one.
Pre-warn. pre-broken in.
So I have technology that makes it so that I can show this on the screen, but instead I'm just going to hold my tablet up to my camera so you can see the different colors of Grimlock. John just shared this in our Skype chat.
Yeah, mine is more the middle one.
Mine's definitely more toward the right.
Yeah, the one that I saw was
Mine's the
actually
one on the
lighter
left.
than all of these. Because because the one I saw was actually lighter than the one in the middle. It was literally like a Carolina blue.
Oh, mine's not
sky
that light.
blue.
Mine's blue.
all
blue.
we're really saying here is that Grimlock is not a binary; it's a spectrum.
Nice. Okay, cool. So let's see here. This week in history. It's a favorite of mine because
Oh God, I
was still relatively new in the fandom when this happened in 1998. The Dark Glass debacle begins with the post-alt Toys Transformers. So Don, since you love this so much, tell us about it.
No, it's just one of them things that it's like how the internet survived those first 4 or 5 years without imploding. This is one of the reasons.
This is 5 years into the online Transformers fandom.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I'm just surprised this didn't kill it, in its infancy. Arguments left and right.
So Dark Glass was a script.
Yeah.
For Beast Wars, in which Dinobot focused on. Well, he was repainted as Grimlock.
Yeah, in Dalmatian colors. Yeah,
Dalmatian colors.
That one crumbled too.
Did it?
Yeah, that's a gold plastic syndrome toy.
Ooh, didn't realize it. So Dinobot downloads his memory into what does he? Supposedly, it's on a data disk, or does he download it to the computer?
He plugged himself in the computer in season 2. Like, that was something that actually happened on screen, and that was apparently the plot point that was being picked up in Dark Glass. That they found the computer data, the backup of him. So that's where that started.
So what I'm trying to remember is, did they try to implant that into Transformer 2 Dinobot, or did he?
Yeah, that was the idea. Like, they would use the clone Dinobot to bring their Dinobot back.
Which would have been awesome. But, God, there was just so much drama around this. And in hindsight, I don't understand it.
Well, I think it's just one of those episodes that probably was, this sounds so much cooler than episode X that we got. Or they should have done this instead of episode Y.
Well,
and I think people.
Okay, so supposedly the episode we got instead of this in season 3 was "Go with the Flow," which was the Rat Trap and Depth Charge episode.
Oh, I can kind of see that. Yeah.
But see, like, the outcry over this happened before season 3 actually started for various circumstances. So we didn't even know at the time that this is the episode we got instead of this one that didn't get produced. So it was a whole big thing. Like, the existence of the script got learned about. Someone supposedly obtained a copy of that and then tried to offer it for distribution without permission from Hasbro or Mainframe or anybody else involved who actually had rights to determine how it could be distributed. So that got shut down. And then up to that point, episode scripts for Beast Wars had been released. Ben Yee had them all up on his site for season 1 and season 2. I don't know if they're still available there. I hope they are. But after the whole Dark Glass thing happened, that was the end of that. So we never got anything past season 2 as a result of this. So the drama around this one specific thing might be harder to understand, but as a larger event in the fandom, it kind of did have its ripples that kind of make sense that people would be irritated by the various circumstances. Plus, there's just that matter of, this thing exists and I can't have it, and that makes me angry.
This was almost 20 years ago. It was 19 years ago.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Plus, it with Beast Wars having done Code of Hero, which was pretty much unexpected at that time in Western animation.
It wasn't that unexpected, considering it got spoiled on Toys Transformers.
Yeah. But
The
I'm
other
just saying,
thing, too, you have to remember the context of the time where there was so little fiction available that the hint of anything new was super, super important. Fanfic was super huge back then because we were just really hungry for more kind of content, official or otherwise.
Yeah.
So, there's this whole other story here that we're never going to get to hear, and that's terrible.
And then the
It's not
Underground
like it
trilogy
is
happened.
today. Oh. Then there's all this story here that we're going to have to sit through, and that's terrible.
So it's like, I don't want to go too far into this, but that's why there was such a big outcry. Yeah, that's why there was such a big outcry with Beast Machines. It was because, one, Beast Wars was so great. Beast Machines at the time didn't feel anywhere near as good, but also there was nothing else. So we had nothing else in our lives fiction-wise to give a crap about. Now, if a series sucks, well, okay, there's the comics. I can focus on that, or I can focus on one of the other series that happened 10 years ago. I could brush up on that. But the series that happened before this one was G1. So you could go back and watch G1, which is kind of a kick in the butt.
Or read the Marvel comics.
Yeah. You had the UK stuff.
Yeah.
That
was so hard to get.
There was the UK stuff if you could find it, because that was the big thing back then. People piecing together scans of their surviving original comics, because there was no compilations, collections, reprints, anything like that. It was just, well, I have these 5 originals. Half the pages are missing out of one of them, but it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
And it was.
Well, because I'll be honest, when they did Man of Iron Part 1 and Part 2, when they imported that story from the UK, I didn't want to read any more UK stuff.
Well, I don't blame you.
I mean, the artwork was so wonky, and it was just like, I don't want to read any more of the UK stuff if it all looks like this. So that kind of, that was
that was very early UK stuff.
That was the first.
Yeah.
That was the first UK original story, wasn't it?
I think it was.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but yeah, but I'm saying, but at that time, that's the only snapshot I had of the UK comic.
But the thing is, it was equally as bad as the stuff that we were exporting over there, just in a different way. I don't want to read any more. No, they were getting the American stuff. Okay. Yeah, but that is definitely something that happened in 1998.
Which I don't think we've talked about in the last year or two, so...
Yeah. God,
that's a plus.
And Eric's in the chat. It's like, I wasn't even born yet.
Yes, Eric, we know. Thank you for reminding all of us that we're old.
Yes, okay. So,
well, Don, Eric could have lived almost 2 times, actually more than 2 times in the whole span of your life, because he's just 18 now, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
I mean, it's not that great for me either. I'm almost twice his age.
Yeah. I still think of you as 15. Okay. The big item this week. Hasbro pursues legal action against DC over Bumblebee from the Superhero Girls. It's Superhero Girls line? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Basically, so. I didn't even know this character existed, but I do now because
I don't think anyone did.
You didn't watch the Teen Titans cartoon in the early 2000s, did you?
Yeah, because she became a
major secondary character, I would say.
Yeah,
if she wasn't like
one of the Titans East.
Yeah, I didn't. I must not have watched it closely enough.
And quote unquote Cyborg's girlfriend, quote unquote.
I thought that was Beast Boy.
No, you're thinking of the fan fiction again.
/fic, okay. But yeah, so here's the thing. A lot of people are ditching on Hasbro because of this. But the way I put it in the daily news update, Hasbro has the right and responsibility to protect what they own.
Yep, absolutely. And they did successfully register the trademark on Bumblebee in 2015. So DC and their toy manufacturing licensee, which I think is Mattel in this case, releasing a toy called Bumblebee is a challenge that they need to address.
Yeah.
Now, the most likely outcome of this is that there will be some kind of settlement. It's not probably going to go to a court ruling.
Yeah.
It'll go to a settlement. There will be some monetary outpay, and DC will probably have to change going forward how they represent that character on the merchandising.
Yeah, so a friend of mine compared Hasbro to Harmony Gold. I'm like, no, not remotely the same thing.
Well, I've got one question for the guys. This is just something that I remember from my law classes in college. Back when after fire was invented. Even though they have the same name, they are significantly different products. One in a young child's targeted line. One in a different
it's a toy
different
line.
audience, different.
They are both
sounds
action
too
figures.
Yep.
They're both action figures aimed at children ages blank to blank, named Bumblebee, and that is, in terms of a trademark, probably all that it needs to be contested.
It's not
Yeah,
like,
it
it's
would
not
be
like,
like them coming out with a character called Optimus Prime. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, but I'm saying the two are so significantly different in what they're trying to
Doesn't
shoot
matter.
for that
Yeah, it
that
doesn't
would
matter.
come into play.
So,
Okay.
same space.
An explanation for the brand confusion angle on this that someone posed was that it's not really about that, reasonable person X might confuse one for being the other character.
That's
It's
what I was
about
thinking.
that they would not be able to immediately discern who actually owns that character name.
Okay.
Yes.
Because they're both selling, both companies are selling the same character name, even if it's different products, but they're both in the same trademark category. So that is a potential issue. Since they have a registered trademark on this for almost 2 years now, it's not even really about that. That's just dot your I and cross your T's thing in case the direct route of saying we registered this 2 years ago, they didn't contest it or whatever, or their contest failed, whatever. If that doesn't hold up, if it goes that far, they still have the brand confusion thing to bring forward, which gives them another avenue to pursue on this.
Yeah. So, and real quick, I just want to point out, just to backtrack for a second, McFeely is in the chat, and he is upset that we're talking smack about Man of Iron. Just want to get that out there.
Well, Chris, I'm sorry. It's just that's the first time I ever saw any of the UK artwork, and it really was. It's like getting Simon Furman for up to issue 74, and then 75 is Jeff Senior. It's still good. It's just that
Well, getting
that
Simon,
sudden.
you mean getting Andrew Wildman?
Wildman. Sorry, Andrew Wildman. I'm sorry. It's like we got Andrew Wildman artwork up to 74. 75 is Jeff Senior. It's like it's great in its own way, but it's just that transition from one to the other that catch you off guard.
I prefer his work on G.I. Joe, but there's something about Jeff Senior's art on Transformers that just works for me better than Wildman does. I don't know.
So I mean, I wasn't putting down Man of Iron. It's just the artwork wasn't something I enjoyed visually.
It's been 20 years since I read it, but I totally am putting it down. So moving from this item to the next, there's nothing on TFormers currently about this, and this is all subjective based on mostly hearsay. But Rob did say that someone pertinent to the story posted on TFW, so we'll go from here. So there are rumors circulating on Twitter yesterday that was it Kapow or Robot Kingdom?
Kapow.
Kapow got a cease and desist from Hasbro in respect to an unknown at this point third-party toy, and that the cease and desist basically said you can't sell this toy without us taking some sort of action. Which would be the first time that I know of Hasbro directly taking any kind of action whatsoever when it comes to third-party product that I know of.
It's interesting because Takara did a similar
Yes.
thing several years ago in Japan. Very, very similar. If you don't stop selling this product, you're not going to get any of our stuff anymore. We're going to stop distributing to you.
Yeah, and I don't remember off the top of my head. Did the guy from Kapow say specifically it was Hasbro or Takara that had sent the notice?
I don't believe he did. I'm sure that vagueness was intentional.
Yeah.
It stands to reason that it would be Hasbro because I don't think retailers in the UK have direct accounts with Takara Tomy.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't.
But you're correct to point out we don't have that as an absolute fact.
So we have to be very careful when we talk about this because it involves a lot of unknowns. But it does seem that some action has been taken with a retailer outside of Asia in respect to third-party toys. And that is very interesting. If it is Hasbro, my question is, why take the action? Why now and not 5 years ago? What is it that has caused this to take place?
That's why I really want to know what toy it is, or what third-party figure it is, or if it's a third-party company, or one specific figure, or two specific figures. It would be really interesting to find out a little bit more details about this.
Yeah, the only thing we know for certain is that the owner of Kapow Toys said on TFW that they expected that this notice would only affect basically 2 figures that they had up for pre-order, and that they expected a specific company would have difficulty selling things outside of China. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess Diecast just lost us.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but yeah. Yeah.
It's only going to affect what? I'm sorry.
One retailer. Or one manufacturer.
Yeah, the last we heard is that they expected it to only affect 2 items they had up for pre-order, and that they were speculating that one specific manufacturer was suddenly going to have great difficulty selling their figures outside of China.
I really want to speculate, but I can't. I don't want to without.
Well, why can't we say let's speculate and?
Well, okay, let's approach it from this angle. So the question has been raised of if anything's disappeared from Kapow Toys pre-order listings. No one's been able to verify anything has. It may be at this point Kapow has not actually taken anything off of there. They may, still be working with their legal representation to determine what their exact options are in response to this.
Have any Fans Toys Fans Project Function X toys dropped off their pre-order? Because that was due like 4 years ago, if that's the case.
That's Fans Project.
Yeah, I corrected myself and said Fans Project. So
yeah, I mean, this wouldn't really be that big of a deal if it was just like a cease and desist against Fans Project stuff.
Or iGear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, like I've seen people on the internet speculate Fans Toys, but that is based on no facts whatsoever.
Right.
See, the next store that I would, or e-tailer that I would expect to see anything, if it's, companies that have direct relations with Hasbro, whether it be Asia or US, would be Big Bad Toy Store. I think that may be a store to watch to see if they get anything similar, just because they do have a direct relationship with Hasbro US.
Mm-hmm.
So in the chat, Sam's killing it. He said it's those third-party visionaries.
Someone said Galaxy Meteor led to a whole other slew of stuff.
So I did see it suggested. We know it's not the case now, but on Facebook, in a Facebook third-party group, somebody said that this was just confusion with the Bumblebee trademark. It does not appear to be the case. It does appear that there actually was a cease and desist that was submitted to Kapow Toys. So.
Yeah, where the confusion seemed to come in on Twitter is that about 2 days after the initial story about Kapow Toys came a wave of rumors that all the various companies that carry third party were getting cease and desists, and that Hasbro was trying to shut it all down across the board. And at this moment, we do not have any proof that is the case.
Yeah,
I mean, they would have every right to do so.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing is that's an awful lot to take on, going from not doing anything to doing everything.
Well, I mean, so it doesn't seem like they are. It doesn't right now to me seem like they are, but they could be. But I don't know if there's a middle ground, which is one of the reasons I think that they probably haven't done much of anything, is because if you're selective, does that mean that you are endorsing X, Y, and Z if you only go after A, B, and R?
That's why I have a hard time thinking that it's one company that they're saying, you can't sell this one company's items, because there's 15 million third-party companies out there. So
one of the points of speculation, I'm sorry, Rob, I'll make this fast. One point of speculation is that this is due to some movie-based third-party items that are very close to the movie designs, which would be partly owned by DreamWorks, and the car companies if they go for the realistic alternate modes. And this may be something that those business partners of Hasbro are saying, hey, mind your shop here, and like Hasbro's having to take action because of those kind of pressures, where otherwise they might choose to just, ignore it like they do most everything else. That's just, another line of speculation, but it kind of makes sense in one context.
It could be that Dino figure that we saw.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Legally, the last time I looked at copyright law, also my understanding was that if it can be proven that you were aware of a violation of your copyright and did not defend it, you can lose your copyright. So if there has arisen some reason, some proof that some incontrovertible proof that Hasbro is now aware of third party, then they have to go after everyone. That's my. I am not a lawyer. I am not a copyright lawyer, especially. But
I thought you were.
No, not last I checked. But yeah,
you don't have that lawyer money.
No, but yeah, the last time I read about copyright law, if you are aware of a violation of your copyright, you have to go after it under U.S. copyright law. I believe international copyright law is a little bit different, but okay, yeah, as far as we know, that is still true. The other thing I was thinking about is it possible that the figures... Is there anybody out there like who have pre-orders up specifically for an RC and an Ultra Magnus? Because if there is a collector's club coming, moving it specifically into adult collectibles might mean that Hasbro feels obligated to challenge specific things that they did not before.
Adult collectibles like a Dead or Alive body pillow?
Not quite that adult.
Okay.
So, Don, would you be interested in an RC body pillow?
Or a mouse pad?
God.
Or a mouse pad.
He's not going
He's
to
going
answer.
to kill us all,
He's
I
going
swear.
to kill us at TFCon. But you guys
He
will be
doesn't have
there.
to kill us. He has cats for that.
Hang up. There's the hang up button.
So, until we know more, I don't feel comfortable going to... It's not uncommon for somebody who runs a site to have to deal with Hasbro's different arms occasionally, and I'm not too interested in dealing with their legal arm anytime soon, so I'm not going to speculate too much.
Yeah, I mean, we've already gone a little bit farther and deeper into this than we really intended to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and move along.
We'll definitely revisit this when more facts become available.
So
Yes.
I did not read this story this week, I guess because it was in respect to the last night, but I am familiar with it. So I love that you're citing Box Office Mojo. It's one of my favorite sites. So
Well, I mean, it's a good resource, and as far as I know, it's like the resource for this kind of information.
It is. So I don't see it listed here. Oh, yeah, right there. So $604 million is the worldwide total as of this past weekend, which is good, but it's nowhere near what the last two movies earned. Which
It's
unfortunately-
Nowhere near their
the
projections.
nowhere near the projection.
Yeah.
But
And-
wait, is this the one that I read? There was a couple articles like this, and I read one where it said this actually surpassed their low expectation.
So, in the immediate days and week or so before the movie came out, a lot of outlets were projecting a really low opening, and then rolling that forward to the movie's going to have a low total by the time it finishes. So in comparison to that, yes, it did exceed those levels. I don't think we really know what Paramount or Hasbro's actual expectation points were on this, but we can absolutely assume they were aiming higher than 600 million worldwide.
And and again, I've sort of beat this drum for a while. A movie like this, which does have an international audience, but they do want to at least make up what the movie costs domestically. And the movie was a bomb, relatively compared to the other films. I feel comfortable saying it bombed domestically.
I mean, even compared to what the other, setting aside the other films takes, 130 million is not that great.
No.
Not
for a
considering
total.
not considering what it cost. And
Right.
the last movie made $100 million the first weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And we know what the estimated production budget was, but as I cite in the article, they did so much marketing for it. That has got to be a compounded cost on top of that that's not even being accounted for in the published numbers. So even with that international take, they are probably profiting a lot less than they thought they would be.
And not to go back on the to our speculation from before, but I just want to point out that I'm almost positive at some point in the last 5 years when we were talking about third party, I said, yeah, Hasbro is tolerating it now while they're making good money and having a good year, and once they have a bad year, watch out.
So I thought they had record profits this past quarter. Maybe not from Transformers, but generally speaking.
Well, yeah, this past quarter, does that past quarter cover after the opening of the movie?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean,
or if it does, it's only by a few days.
Yeah, but the market.
Because I mean, the performance of the film could, prompt investors to say, hey,
that is a very valid point. The success or failure of a media property that's not directly the toy still can impact investor.
Yeah, the film's performance could far overshadow, as far as they're concerned, the performance of the toy line.
Yeah, and because investors aren't logical creatures all the time, they're not. Believe me, I know.
No.
Yes,
and I'd like to say it still kind of blows my mind that this did worse than Age of Extinction.
It was better than probably the whole rest of the series, but it's also too little too late.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, didn't do well. Could have done worse. Next one probably will do worse, if there is a next one.
In terms of the Bumblebee movie, that's shooting on a much lower budget, and they got a ton of money from California for keeping everything in California. So, all the costs are going to be less on that. So, it has a lot more room to actually turn a profit and look better.
So
I would speculate if the Bumblebee movie does well, they will go to another Transformers movie. If the Bumblebee movie doesn't do well, we may be in trouble.
Yeah, we will be.
Yeah. So, but when it comes to big numbers, actually, it's kind of funny talking to John in the chat here. It's kind of about the same thing. Big numbers, though, when it comes to movies, are often more important than just turning a profit when it comes to a big media property like this. So if they eke by and have a profit of $100 million, so if they pull in $600 million, it costs $250 or whatever it costs to make, plus all these other expenses, it's not going to make a whole lot. It may not be worth it to Paramount and DreamWorks to go at it for another movie, even if they can turn a profit with a lower budget film. So it's a big complex issue. It's not just black and white numbers. To Matt's point earlier, there's a lot of emotion and just general feeling that goes into this. So we'll see. What else we got? Cyber Battalion series found at a California Walgreens. Was it Ben that found this? No, Ben's not in California, but he posted
Ben
it.
did not find it, but someone sent him the information about the sighting.
Yeah. And this, of course, aligns with what Rob Springer's source at Walgreens told us a while back, that these were going to start showing up.
I love that Rob has sources and that the sources are correct. I love that Rob is building a little Transformers empire and network with his own base. I'm really impressed by it. I think it's awesome.
$30
for two of them. I made that mistake too.
Oh.
They're $17 a piece.
Oh, I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And those are fairly substantially sized figures. I think that Jetfire is comparable to a Voyager in height.
That is crazy.
Obviously simpler construction, because that's what that whole series is about. But if you want a big Jetfire toy that's not the Generations leader class, it's an option.
I'm glad to see that these are showing up in U.S. in some capacity. Not because they're the greatest figures, but just because if people want to buy them, now they have an avenue to get them.
Yeah, and it's something different, too. I don't know if I'm going to get that Jetfire, but I think there's a Prowl in the assortment with it, based on the overseas findings. So I might pick that up if I saw one day.
Yeah.
See, I love Jetfire, so I will pick him up. If I see him.
No, you don't. I've never heard that before.
I know.
So what else we got going on here?
And either way, Better Jetfire than Kronos.
Yes. So, Toy Alliance MAS02 Mega Action Series Megatron images. I like the look of this better than the Optimus, but that may be just me. I think it looks awesome. I know you like your Optimus, right, Diecast?
Yeah, I like the Optimus, and I think these two will look really good next to each other.
He's 18 inches tall, and he has 72 points of articulation.
Well, I mean,
That's like fingers and stuff.
Yeah, that's counting the hands. If they're fully articulated, that's quite a lot of joints right there. That's about half of it right there.
Yeah, but Megatron's not going to have like all these points of articulation. Like, I don't even think I have 72 points of articulation. So,
well, you might not, but an average person does.
See what 30 in the phalanges, the hands.
How many individual points in the wrist?
But I would count that as one. That's an articulated wrist.
That's a ball joint.
Yeah, it's a ball joint.
No, that's your shoulder.
And your hip.
Or your hip.
Yeah.
The only thing that that gives me pause with this in terms of just the appearance is that I feel like the face sculpt is a little bit too soft.
I like the face sculpt for some reason. I don't know what it is.
It's not bad. I don't, it kind of puts me in mind of IDW Megatron again, which is basically at this point my favorite version of the character.
As long as it's not Dreamwave.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, Brian, that's the one thing that I have not liked about this or the Optimus, because if you look at the legs, they just seem to be out of proportion with the torso, which reminds me of those big, huge Dreamwave lower body proportions where they look like they're just like wearing gigantic stomping boots. Everybody's wearing the same, the same gigantic. Like, I'm a robot. I've got gigantic boots on. You just can't. It's just. It's just these big chunky lower legs and a lot more
legs,
out of proportion torso.
Don, I'm totally copying you on Happy Day part of the time.
Yeah.
Especially when I say eggs. You say eggs the best of anybody I know.
Eggs.
No, it's not how you say it.
Yes, it is. Eggs.
He's too self-conscious now.
I love you. Don.
Anyway, that's the one thing about this is that I have a problem with is that the legs are too Dreamwave, and they're just too out of proportion with the rest of the body.
I can see that.
I can see it too. I feel like I'd like to just see like a completely neutral pose because I feel like the thickness of the arms could be kind of weird looking at next to the body too, but given the poses we're given, we can't really see if they're going to balance the legs out or not. I almost want to say that if you could see it in a neutral pose, the midriff and the head would end up looking small compared to the rest of the figure.
I'm thinking of Meg's wearing like a mini skirt and a short top, so he showed his midriff. Yeah. So, how about that that half-size Squeaks that we're getting from Prime 1?
What was it, like $1,500 or something like that?
I didn't check the price on it.
Something like that.
I know they're going after the kid-friendly character, but Squeaks didn't have enough to do in the movie to warrant this much merchandise.
Oh yeah, they're making 500 of them though.
Yeah, well, good because that's not a kid-friendly price.
Do we think? So I don't know anybody that buys any of this stuff.
Me either.
So if we don't know, I mean, I've been in the Transformers fandom for 20 years, online fandom for 20 plus years. I know most everybody there is to know when it comes to, and if I don't know them, Don does.
And if Don doesn't, they're not worth knowing.
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that there are people online who are Transformers fans who would probably not even count themselves as members of the fandom or who do not engage with the fandom at large because
they're smart.
I was going to say because before I was on this show, I probably was one of them. So,
well, my best
friend.
But
would you buy this?
I am not constructed solely of money, Diecast.
I think what Brian was trying to say is he doesn't know anyone that's going to buy this.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But maybe movie
so Rob, if you had that lawyer money like Diecast was talking about before, would you buy this?
No, I would not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not even worth me Dononomixing it out. It's just
no. If you were gonna try to Donomics your way to $1,500, you'd stop at $900 and get the Unicron.
Did I say worth knowing?
Exactly.
Because that's terrible of me if I said that. You guys are like our fans are worth knowing. God, I love our fans. Like literally, our fans and our listeners are the people that I'm most thankful for.
What's the characteristic sound of a bike going backwards?
Characteristic sound of a bike. Is that a riddle?
Backpedaling.
I'm thinking
hey, nice.
maybe these are popular in other markets, not U.S. market.
I think that's entirely possible, and also
Convoy Studios is a Japanese studio, I believe. So.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie didn't do so well in Japan either. So there you go.
Well, there's
Yeah, but they had to have been working on this for about a year to have it at the point they're showing it. So, oops.
So Ultra Pro, the people that make all those card sleeves that I've had my NASCAR Bobby Elliott or Bobby whatever cards for 25 years. They're making Transformers branded card supplies. Yeah. So there is there's not a lot going on in the news this week, so
there's really not.
Well,
I mean,
Ryan, I saw this. I was going to pose this question to y'all real quick, just as a real quick roundtable. With Magic still being a thing, and I'm guessing Yu-Gi-Oh is still a thing because they have a mobile app and it still exists.
We have a mobile
Why do we
app.
not have? Yeah, we do, and you should download it. Why has Hasbro not looked into doing a Yu-Gi-Oh Magic style Transformers game? I know we had the fan made one a couple of years ago, but what do you think is keeping them from looking at this as an option?
Nobody buy it?
Other than that,
Hasbro has Magic, so why would they cut into their own market?
I think
but see,
there's
I think
also, once upon a time in 1968, they tried to make a G.I. Joe action figure of a nurse. It didn't sell, so for 50 years we got action figures of girls do not sell. We had a Tactics, and the Tactics did very poorly.
but that was what 10 years ago at this point.
Once upon a time in 1968.
Okay. But I'm saying, I think the people that play Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, because I kind of group them together because it's a very similar vein, would not be the same people playing a Transformers card game.
You're probably entirely right, and I think you're right in that there could be a market for some crossover between Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast / TSR, their subsidiaries. I think there's a place for even if not a card game, more
Tabletop miniatures?
yeah, tabletop miniatures. Some kind of more like, for lack of a better term, traditional gaming crossover with Transformers, but I don't know if it's something that that they would ever think to pursue for whatever.
Tabletop miniatures would actually not be a bad angle for them, because in addition to fixed pose, non-transforming character game pieces, there is also the opportunity to have transforming environment playset kind of things for to use as a playing field. It actually would be a solid crossover.
Except nobody'd buy it.
Yeah. Part of the problem, I think, is that I think to do that right, you would have to do it more on the Wizard side than the Hasbro side to get something that I'd be interested in, because Hasbro, every couple of years Hasbro will put in Clone Wars or something else. They'll put a half-assed attempt at a game you can play with the figures, and it's never really anything that holds your interest for very long.
You need someone that does games for a business to do the game, and Hasbro just say, here's our characters.
Hasbro does games for business.
They
own Dungeons and Dragons, Don.
I know. I'm just saying, it seems like
Hasbro owns a lot of games. Monopoly.
Yeah. But it'd be kind of fun, I said Omega Supreme in defense mode, and he's got 2,000 points, and someone summons Trypticon, and he has 3,000 points.
Hey, Rob, question for you.
I'm just,
And I should know the answer to this, but I don't. From my vantage point, it seems like Wizards or Hasbro mostly just produces paper goods like books and guides and stuff, and the other things they end up licensing to other people to produce. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Not entirely. I mean, there was a period there where they were producing miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons and the Star Wars role-playing game when they still had that license. And I don't know how well they any of that did for them with the Star Wars game. Obviously not well enough that they were willing to keep anyone else from getting the license, because Fantasy Flight Games has it now. But once upon a time, Wizards did produce miniatures and other
But that
plastic
was before
goods.
Hasbro bought them.
No.
Was it not?
There were Dungeons and Dragons and Star Wars gaming miniatures as I want to say it was 10 years ago at most.
So the thing that interests me, of course, this isn't an RPG podcast. I have that at rpglessonslearned.com. That it seems like tabletop RPGs are more popular than they've been in probably the last 10 or 15 years. So it seems like if there was a time to tap that market, it would be now. And Hasbro being Hasbro, they could afford to produce more plastic goods than they do.
I think one key factor here we have to keep in mind is that anything like this would also have to be done by an arm of Hasbro or subsidiary that has a realistic expectation for how tabletop gaming merchandise actually sells. I think one reason HeroClix was dropped as fast as it lasted for about a year, I think, is because, it did not sell all that well, and Hasbro thought it should sell at the same rate that action figures sell, which it never would.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking. Yeah. I guess I'm not thinking specifically that. I am more thinking just in general with their D&D stuff, because it seems to me like if they are keeping D&D, they're still developing it. So it seems like if it's worth them to keep developing it, there must be a market out there for them to produce more of the collateral material, I guess, for lack of a better term.
I think they have trouble identifying exactly what that market is and where it is, because the thing with the Star Wars miniatures in particular, and I think the D&D miniatures were the same, my memory is fuzzier there, they were trying to sell those at the mass market, and whereas I think that stuff might all have done relatively well at gaming store scale, I do not think it was doing the kind of business they wanted at the mass market scale, which is why it is all gone now.
So Captain Rufus in the chat saying RPGs are not an entity in gaming. I'm not going to agree with that specifically, because again, comparing the Transformers podcast market to CNN, that's a non-entity, but it's worth it to us to do it. So it depends on the market that you're going after.
Yeah, everything is a question of scale. Yes. There's interest. It's just, is it going to be enough for a company as big as Hasbro to think it's worth their time? And the question is always, are they going to guess right at the scale they can sell this at?
But talking to Dusty, my friend in DM, his point is mostly that they outsource a lot of work that Hasbro themselves don't have a lot of people working on the stuff.
I'm not surprised.
And I will skip ahead to the next item, which is Iron Factory's Fangs of Tyranny, because it sounds like a D&D campaign. Legend scale unofficial Conehead set photos.
I believe we were talking about these earlier.
Yeah.
I don't want them. I don't want to have to buy them.
Yeah,
for
you
one
do.
Little...
Yes, you do. You want those. You want them badly.
No, I don't.
They look nice.
I like the DX9 a lot better.
I mean, okay, so the Iron Factory ones are going specifically for a particular IDW interpretation of...
I checked my Twitter.
What did he do?
Uh-oh.
Don't check Twitter. Okay. Go ahead, keep going, I'm sorry.
Iron Factory is going for a specific IDW interpretation of the Seekers, which I think is vaguely based on one of the Guido Guidi redesigns.
I don't like him.
Possibly.
They're too squat in jet mode. They're just too... They're almost super deformed like in jet mode.
I mean, they do compact down surprisingly a lot when they transform. But I mean, I can see why, if you're wanting more of a actual classic style Seeker, that would not be what you're really looking for. But I mean, in terms of like figure build and quality, Iron Factory, DX9 should all be basically the same.
Yeah. Yeah, so man, I want to like these. I really do, but I really don't.
Yeah, the robot mode is kind of nice, but the jet modes are just way too compressed for me. It's
like I love Legend Scale and I love Seekers, but these just don't work for me.
Yeah, I love the Seekers, and I also love the Legend Scale. That's why I'm getting the DX9 ones. I've just never been a real fan of the way they tweak the designs to put them on the Raptor jet body. There's just always been something a little bit off to me.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, moving along. Next item. Okay, so Captain Rufus said only RPG that seems to be cared about right now is D&D. Again, not disagreeing with that.
what if they care so much?
I can't argue that. So
It's almost been the biggest one, but Pathfinder's out there. The current Star Wars RPG is out there. There's a bunch of stuff out there, but yeah, D&D is always going to be the biggest one, probably.
Well, if D&D is so well loved, where's my new animated series?
They're probably working on crappy
Right
movies
Cell?
instead.
In Right Cell?
Don, just go buy a copy of Dark Dungeons. It's exactly the same thing. I actually think you would really like Dark Dungeons. You should watch it. Last item in the news: new picks, Rodimus Prime and Matrix statue. Oh god, such a shortage of news this week. New picks, Rodimus Prime and Matrix statue from Imaginarium Art. I'm not buying this.
I don't like it.
Of,
the face does not look good.
Yeah, I kind of like it, but I think that's because I can't afford the lamp. So I'm looking. But I probably don't know the price of this either. So
It's probably cheaper than the lamp.
yeah, but
lamp.
it's a poor man's lamp.
I think that's called a flashlight.
Yeah.
I mean, the face looks a little bit better when he's holding the Matrix versus all. I mean, it's just, I guess maybe it's the angle. But
The face is just the first thing that strikes me. I like all the added detail, like to his wing. I don't know the break in the torso where it looks like his chest can turn. Just it's a whole bunch of things that are breaking up the.
Yeah. This reminds me of what if SIC did Transformer figures versus Figure Arts. It's kind of hyper detailed into the point where you start losing the figure in all the extra gribble.
Actually, I'd say that the movie designs are what you'd get if Super Inventive Chogokin did Transformers.
Imaginative.
Yeah.
Oh, super imaginative. Yeah. Okay. But yeah,
Same difference functionally, but yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm with you guys. I am not a big fan of excessive detail and design, and this has a lot of it.
Yeah.
I just don't care about statues.
Me neither.
That too.
And yet I put 3 of them, 2 or 3 in the show notes this week.
Yeah.
There's nothing else going
Because
on.
there's nothing else to talk
But
about.
next week is HasCon, so that's when all the news will happen. Thanks to Amazon.
Yes.
Go to tfradio.net/Titan Eater for $135. You can get Titans Return Trypticon. It's pretty awesome.
And hopefully his legs won't snap off the first time you put them on.
Yeah.
They're direct.
The Amazon ones seem to be fine, so
Yeah.
you should be okay.
Quick
Hopefully.
question. That list that was going around that listed the show the batch numbers for Trypticon, is that still fairly accurate? Do we know?
I have no
far as I
idea.
know.
I can't vouch for it.
I'm familiar with what you're referring to. I don't know how complete that list is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically it's something that Maz at TF Square One has been keeping on Twitter, and when people send him information, he reposts it. And sometimes you get conflicting information. He has, since he's just repeating reports, there are some batch numbers that are on both the good and bad side. So it's really difficult to say if any of that is useful information or not. It's out there if you want to see it, but.
So pretty much assume if you get an early Trypticon that there may be issues.
Yeah, I think the batch number list will probably be most useful for just tracking, like, where is the earliest number, where is the latest number, and looking in that direction
Yeah.
when possible.
The number I'm
Obviously,
worried
if you're ordering from Amazon, you don't really have any control over, batch number choices like you might if you could find it at the Toys R Us.
And the number I'm worried about right now is 150. Because with the Mega Block Star Trek USS Enterprise NCC 1701 Collector's Construction Set, it's $150 off the original price. You can get it for $100.
That's almost 3,100 pieces.
That's like the equivalent of almost like the Death Star. From
Don,
the
what kind
set.
of Dononomics would you have to do to get that set?
I'd have to be a Borg to calculate that, and I really am not able to at this point
Oh,
in
it
time.
has a little plaque. Oh my God, I need this in my life.
It's a really nice presentation. Hey Mickey bought one at full price when it was brand new. I've seen it since he's assembled it. It's huge. It's really impressive. Also comes with minifigures of Kirk and Spock in their dress uniforms, if that matters at all to you.
So I loved Creo, don't get me wrong. But the Mega Block stuff is way better than the Creo Star Trek stuff.
Yes, it is.
So much better.
Mega Bloks is basically better than Creo anything.
Yeah.
I have a lot of the Creo Star Wars stuff still in box, so that that's why I'm a little hesitant. Yeah.
There's no Creo Star Wars.
Star Trek.
That's
what I meant.
Yeah. I just thought for a second Creo Star Wars. I would buy that.
Oh yeah, that's another thing I forgot to mention.
It.
That's another thing I forgot to mention that I got this week. I picked up a little Mega Bloks Picard and 2 Borg drones.
I skipped the
Borg. Amazing.
I skipped the Borg. I got Picard and Skeletor. And He-Man. I forgot about He-Man. So
yeah, I'm gonna go back at some point and get a Skeletor and He-Man. They're just lower priority. I've got my Picard and my Borg so far, and I'm satisfied. The Borg even has extra parts in it, so that if you do troop build, like Bat is slowly sliding down the rabbit hole of again, you can vary up the pieces on them so they don't all look identical.
yeah, but of course you can get anything at Amazon. TFRadio.net/Amazon. It'd help us out. The way I've been putting it on the new daily show, it would help cover the myriad costs that we incur producing all of this fine content.
So, I mean, going to HasCon's not cheap, just for one thing.
Dude, HasCon does not come out of the Amazon money.
Well, I mean, it's a coverage expense, so I mean, it totally legitimately could.
It could, but it doesn't. Because right now, just having an issue paying all the bills.
I'm just saying, like, if there was, a surplus enough, that could totally be like money to go to conventions to cover them for the show.
It could be. So like the Amazon,
that would be a legitimate use of the Amazon money.
Like the Amazon thing. I don't want to. This is not me begging or anything. This is actually just me making sausage. It's like Amazon recently cut the rate that they do the referral stuff on, and we're still basically covering costs, but it shouldn't. You can do a podcast for next to nothing, but I do incur hundreds, plural, hundreds of dollars a month.
Well, that's because you do a professional podcast and it's available everywhere you can imagine,
everywhere,
which costs money.
Yeah, hundreds of dollars a month, not thousands yet. If
that would be another divorce condition, I believe.
Yeah, there was a point when I was looking at the 4-digit a month bill, but it's not 4-digit.
Yeah.
It's a firm 3-digit.
Good.
Very firm 3-digit.
I hope it's a low firm 3-digit.
It's sub $500.
Yeah, that counts as low.
Still a lot of money a month.
Yeah. TFRadio.net/Amazon. Okay, Rob, what's on TFormers this week?
Okay, we've got, basically XV and I have been busy. My video review for Primitive Skateboarding Optimus Prime is up. Unsurprisingly, I really like that figure.
Ooh, I want to watch that.
Yeah, that is a nice figure. It's a good set. I wish it had been available to the public longer than like 10 minutes on Hasbro Toy Shop because it really deserves to be.
I don't even know if it was that long.
I'm probably going to steal some of your music choices for that video, too.
Go for it. Let's see. Also, just as a side effect of finishing that shoot, I produced a photo of every Optimus Prime released in Titan's Return. That is 6 of them, and I did a little post just basically explaining what they all were, where they came from, what they're about, just because it was a slow news day. And
Good.
Yeah. Also, XV has reviewed Optimus Prime issue 10, which it was not the best
I'll just
issue.
say I
of
hope it
Optimus
gets
Prime.
better from here.
Yeah. Man, I won't get into that.
It's either a really slow start into a new story arc, or it's like a one-off issue that doesn't really stand well on its own.
Yeah.
Hopefully hopefully the story will be continued though in a way that makes this issue better in retrospect.
Yeah. Because this kind of reminds me, not unsurprisingly, of the holding pattern issues we had back in the Robots in Disguise days, and I think next month we go right into our tie-ins to First Strike in this title. So there you go. Also, XV has produced some really great galleries for Siege on Cybertron, Magnus Prime, and Tidal Wave. So,
in case you want to see what the worst of the box looks like.
Okay, so in all fairness, I'm not interested in having Tidal Wave because it's not a good Tidal Wave. It's a really pretty toy on a mold that I don't like a whole lot, but it's really good for photography because it's really pretty.
Yeah, go see the gallery because that is the best that toy is ever going to look.
Yeah, it looks great.
And the Magnus Prime gallery was worth it too, just to have the side-by-sides for comparison between that and Super Jinrai. So
that's cool.
There's reasons.
Is there a difference between those? A major difference, or?
The most major difference is going to be that the pelvis is blue on Magnus Prime versus white on Super Jinrai. Otherwise, it's mostly down to variations in shades of color, like the chest windows are darker on Magnus Prime, and some of the white paint on Super Jinrai becomes silver on Magnus Prime. So it's not huge substantial differences, but there's enough where it's easy to tell them apart when you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, there's a couple of spots, I believe, on the trailer that picked up some deco relative to Super Jinrai as well.
Yeah, and Magnus Prime has bigger Autobot logos on the trailer too, so that's almost impossible to mistell.
Yeah, and that is
They're
what's on
5 times the size.
So,
and yeah, that's what's on TFormers this week.
I'm talking to Captain Rufus in the chat.
Right, so Dawn, what's on the network?
Oh yeah, thank you, Matt.
What's on the network this week? Superhero Time presents that one episode of Star Trek, Sub Rosa. Sub Rosa is an extremely deep, complex, and meaningful episode to Next Generation 7th season. Actually, that's a complete lie. It's more like the closest thing to softcore porn they can get away with on first-run syndication in 1993, interspersed with odd interludes about Planet Scotland. All that, plus we're joined by Scott's wife. It's a hell of a week on that one episode of Star Trek. RPG Lessons Learned, Episode 17, Escape from Earthport. This week, Dusty, Brian, and Mike talk about what is both their first Chaosium D100 game and their first sci-fi adventure. It's Escape from Earthport on the basic role-playing game Quick Start Edition.
Which is basically low-rent Star Wars.
And that's it. It was a light podcast week, but we do have at least a review up at RFC, and that would be what, Diecast?
It's the clear DX9 Warren Pocket Starscream.
So I watched that video, and I was actually really impressed with the design of that toy. I also like your new background and lighting conditions. It's a lot more even and makes things stand out a little bit clearer without the harsh shadows. I like what you've done with that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a really nice toy, and it really makes me want to consider getting the rest of the Warren Pocket line. So it's really slippery slope, because I just got it because I love Ghost Starscream, and God, it makes me want more of those.
So one thing worth mentioning, we had several other podcasts posted, but they don't go to the main page because I don't want all the RFC Daily Transformer stuff to wind up in the main feed, nor do I want it the Happy Daily to wind up in the main feed, because I don't want to overwhelm it. But we do have the Happy Daily podcast and the RFC Daily Transformers News Update. But this coming Monday, 9/4 at 12 a.m., my new podcast will go live. So, What's Happened to the Headmasters will go live, episode 1.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because episode 1. So, Don, people watching the video, Don's like, "Yay!" But I will be recording an episode with Diecast next week at HasCon as well. So, I'm excited about that. And if I can,
like I said, that's a podcast I don't have to be on,
Yeah.
or don't want to be on.
so
Guess what, Don? You're not getting your 2 RCs until you agree to be on an episode of that.
Well, so here's the thing. Like when it comes to this, I am right now really trying to work with people that have not watched an episode of the dub, and also people that I can get in the same space with me so that I can watch it with them. I will deviate from that once I run out of people that fit that those parameters, but for the moment, it's mostly going to be people that are here local with me. So.
So Kim and
Kim refuses to do it.
I always had faith that Kim was a very intelligent human being. She was very smart. By refusing to watch the dub.
Yeah, so believe it or not, I actually have other friends besides you guys. I know it's hard to believe, but it's actually true.
And, I'm sure the fans have other friends too, and those are the Transformers fans we don't know that might go buy that Squeaks.
Yeah, that's true.
Or not. I mean...
Yeah.
If you do, let us know. We're genuinely interested to find out who actually wants to buy that.
Yes. I mean, I'm 100% certain that there are other Transformers fans out there that we never meet in our circles and going around online and even in person. I'm not 100% certain there's actually a market for that Squeaks, but maybe there's some overlap between those two things. I don't know.
Just like that Squeaks is not something you're going to find in Walmart. So the casual Transformers fan is
But you
just
can't
not
find one
going
at
to buy
Walmart.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like in our circles, like Graham LV is the only person who even comes close because he gets some of those 3A movie figures.
Ah, yeah.
But those are like a fifth of the price of Squeaks at most.
Yeah. Although your local Ollies may get that Squeaks by this time next year.
No, I'm waiting for the Easter basket knockoff in Walgreens next year.
Oh, man.
So don't forget, you can find this at tfradio.net/534. For episode 535, I will not be here, so I guess Diecast and
It'll
Chris...
be a disaster.
Yeah, Diecast and Chris can fight over who's going to host. Maybe Don can host. Or Matt.
We need to make sure Jason has on his soundboard the Star Trek: The Original Series fight music.
Well, the one...
And that can just be looping in the background the whole time as me and Diecast
was that
fight for
was
control.
that used in an episode besides Amok Time?
Yeah, that was... Amok Time might have varied it a little bit, but that was basically their standard fight
'Cause
music.
in my head, that's the only place I ever picture it when I think of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably where it stands out the most.
Yeah. But I'm almost certain it did happen in other episodes, too.
It had to. It had to.
I mean, they didn't have a lot of, episode-specific music from my observations. Like, they had a pool of music they used for the episodes and just kind of throw it together where appropriate.
They
didn't have an orchestra on tap or anything.
Yeah, I think the name of the piece is The Ritual, and I bet if you plug that into Memory Alpha, you will get a nice list of wherever that turned up.
That's a good idea. I like it. So let's see here. What else? So no mailbag or anything this week. I did the voicemail we mentioned last week. I did get a call back on it that clarified some things, which we can talk about next week. I'll put it in the show notes for you guys. So. Follow us on Twitter at TF Radio, on Facebook at facebook.com/TF Radio. I am personally on Twitter at BKilby, and Don is on Twitter at
HMRC, the number 4, EVR.
Don. So what does that mean? I can't spell that out in my head. Where did you get that from?
I just came up with it years ago, and it's just stuck with me. I have no idea what caused me to put that. HMRC. You would know what it means, Brian.
Himmersy forever. Himmersy. Is that a band? Like a band from the 70s? Am I thinking of something else? Headmaster RC.
How about you, Matt? Where can we find you, Matt? Matt is invisible.
He's just not answering.
He is nowhere
Elvar
everywhere.
at Twitter with 3 L's and 2 R's.
MELLLVARR. That account is no longer managed by me. It's been Matt for most of its life.
Yeah. Well, actually, with that goatee, he's like Mirror Universe, the Shadow. With the goatee and stuff. So
yeah, I'm so glad I created that account. Maybe I'll create a Facebook account for him next.
It's just made me a very angry person, so thank you, Brian.
Made you? Angrier.
Help you
That's not what you said.
It shouldn't make you angrier. It should be a place to release your anger.
It should be.
You're using Twitter wrong.
Yeah, Chris.
I'm on Memory Alpha right now trying to find that piece of music.
Nice. Diecast.
I'm on Twitter at Diecast2, on Facebook at Reviews by Diecast, and on YouTube at RFC Reviews.
Rob.
I am on Twitter at Flailthroughs and Figure Reviewers. I'm on YouTube at Flailthroughs. We are currently still in the middle of my Gundam Breaker 3 series, which I discovered in today's episode that you can randomly tag V-fins onto mobile suits for stat bonuses. So I'm having a lot of fun with that.
Awesome.
And of course, my review for Primitive Skateboarding Optimus Prime, and coming soon, the SDCC exclusive Premier Voyager Optimus Prime review are on YouTube at TFormers TV.
Very cool. John.
That John D everywhere.
Well, awesome, guys. You guys will be back here next week. I won't be, but I'll see you 2 weeks from now.
I will have a lot of cool stuff by next week, hopefully,
Yeah.
unless Customs hates me.
That tends to be the case at least half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll see y'all later. Have a good one.
Take care, bye.
Bye.
I'm going to Twitter at that John D so I can see what that that Street Fighter 2 cart.
That is so weird.
Yeah, I saw that before the show. Also, Memory Alpha does not seem to have the music cross-referenced by episode.
That's unfortunate.
That's an oversight.
Must not be much demand for that.
Yeah, I was about to say, also not my job, but
Did you see there's
I think it's wiki software is all about cross-referencing. I don't see. It should be the easiest thing in the world to do.
Only after somebody decides to, put the work in.
Yeah.
yeah, somebody has to decide it's worth their time first, and I don't know that with the exception of that one piece and a couple others scattered here and there, I wouldn't say that music was actually ever the focus of Star Trek.
Well, in the production notes for Amok Time, they do specify music for this episode was reused in a number of second season episodes, among them A Private Little War, The Omega Glory, Bread and Circuses, and The Gamesters of Triskelion.
And there we go.
It became one of the most memorable themes of the show and also appeared in numerous other television series and feature films, usually as a spoof or homage to the episode. Composer Gerald Fried became aware of the popularity. No. When he began getting royalty checks for its usage from The Simpsons. So there you go.
Twitter.com/thatjohnd.
But no, I actually learned today that in the fourth season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, Rick Berman fired the composer for the series up to that point because he said the music stood out too much.
Uh-huh.
What?
That's why the music didn't really seem to be all that special anymore for the rest of the series. Whereas in season 3, you had some really, really great scoring on the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
How much is
Well,
this?
$100.
That's actually about what it would be now.
Yeah, to buy a
with
vintage
inflation.
one?
No. Vintage one's cheap.
Oh, is it? Well,
It's
I
a
guess
cheap
Street Fighter
box, though.
2 is, yeah.
I bet you can get a boxed one for like $25.
Get
Wow.
it, Brian. Get it, Brian.
Is it out now?
No, it's going to ship in November.
Oh my god!
What is it, Brian? I mean, what is it? I didn't hear it.
A brand new edition
Oh,
of Street Fighter 2 for
okay.
the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I didn't hear what it was. Okay, yeah, John mentioned
Here's a
that.
boxed copy of Street Fighter 2 Turbo for $40.
You know what they all
Still my favorite.
since this is for the 30th anniversary of Street Fighter in general, not Street Fighter 2,
$30.
What they really ought to do is make an SNES port of Street Fighter 1.
Oh my god.
Ooh, here's Street Fighter 2 sealed for DOS 5.0.
My favorite Street Fighter 1 memory is I got the PC version, and I wound up on the phone with their tech support because I had never played the arcade version and did not realize how bad it was compared to Street Fighter 2, and I thought there was something wrong with it.
Yeah, it sucks.
It was actually, in terms of controls, a pretty accurate port, as it turns out.
Yeah, I got to play the Street Fighter at Galloping Ghost when we went to BotCon.
The gas station down the road from me as a kid had it. It sucked.
Little did we know.
Let's see here. Is that available for pre-order?
Yeah.
Is it on Amazon? I don't see it.
I am 8bit.com.
Oh. I am 8.
It's like, yeah, I am the number 8.
Yeah.
It's like that. What's that limited run games site? That's what it's called, right? Limited run games or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
The ones that do like Night Trap and the other like vintage
I don't like the box.
re-releases.
Yeah, also like physical releases of things that were only digital. I believe they do.
You know what I noticed
Yes.
looking at this?
Yes.
There's no Nintendo iconography on it at all.
No.
Oh,
There's no
Jeez,
seal
right.
of approval or anything, so no wonder the box looks different. I don't like
Yeah.
the box.
Yeah, that Night Trap sold out in like a minute.
Not surprising.
I was there that Friday morning. I missed it. I came in
Night
like
Trap?
3 minutes after the hour when they started selling them, and they were gone.
So Triplet has Night Trap. Does that mean that he had to wait in line to get it?
And I said, "Fuck this shit." Like for the PS4?
Yeah, I think so.
Then yeah, he must have been mashing on refresh.
He is
get
such Chris. You're such a nerd. God, I want this. I just don't want to spend $100 for it. Since it's the exact same game.
That's never stopped you before.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but it's the anniversary, and you have a random chance of getting red or green.
Oh, well then, I've got to get... Is there a gold? What is that?
I was about to say.
Oh, there's clear
you
as well.
You could always just, get a vintage copy of Doom, transfer the board over, and make a new label.
So, is this using new old stock when it comes to the cartridge? Because the glow-in-the-dark cartridge is not the same style of cartridge that the other is. Because, the original Super Nintendo cartridges had that slot in the middle that would lock the game in. But remember, they did away with that.
Yeah, because I think it actually damaged the system.
It could.
I miss stuff like that.
So I'm still reading the notes for Amok Time, and this is interesting. So apparently at the time, the subject of the Vulcan mating cycle was perhaps too adult a topic for West German TV. So for their dub of the episode, they went in and changed the dialogue. They reordered the scenes and cut some of it. And so the story of that version is that Spock is dying of some space illness. And McCoy administers a treatment that leaves him basically in a hallucinatory state. So all the fighting and the trip to Vulcan and all are explained away in the episode as being part of the delusion.